Microphone. Welcome to the comprehensive review and analysis of the UEFA Champions League quarter-final second leg between Aston Villa and Paris Saint-Germain, held on April 15, 2025, at Villa Park. It was a thrilling, breathtaking encounter where emotions ran high. And PSG had to hold their breath to narrowly escape elimination and secure a place in the semi-finals with an aggregate score of 5-4. After suffering a 1-3 defeat in the first leg in Paris, Aston Villa came into the return match with the mentality of having nothing left to lose. Even before kick-off, the atmosphere at Villa Park was electric, like a cauldron at full boil, as thousands of Birmingham fans filled the stands in their signature claret and blue. They didn't just hope, they believed. They believed that Unai Emery's men could produce a historic comeback. On the PSG side, they brought with them a 2-goal advantage, but also the haunting ghosts of past collapses in knockout stages. They had no choice but to play with caution, avoiding the individual mistakes that had shattered their dreams in seasons gone by. Right from the opening whistle, PSG sought to control possession deep in their own half, aiming to neutralize the fiery home support. Ironically, it was Aston Villa who committed a fatal early mistake. A careless turnover in midfield by Douglas Luiz opened the door for a devastating PSG counter-attack. Vitinha was the orchestrator, threading a perfectly timed ball through Villa's backline to Ousmane Dembélé racing down the right wing. Without hesitation, Dembélé squared it into the box where Achraf Hakimi, surging like a Formula One car, arrived and fired a low, diagonal shot past Emiliano Martinez. Hakimi wasn't just acting as a conventional right-back in PSG's 4-3-3 system, he operated more like a true winger. His forward run was a prime example of PSG's ability to switch the ball quickly from central midfield to the flanks. Villa had numbers in midfield, but the space between their right-back and right midfielder was ruthlessly exploited. The aggregate score now stood at 4-1 for PSG, a cold splash of reality for the packed Villa Park. 27th minute. Nuno Mendes doubles the lead, a hammer blow. Despite conceding, Villa kept pushing with intensity and high pressing, but their backline began to show cracks. PSG seized the opportunity to reinforce why they're among the title favourites. From a simple ball played out from the back, the ball found its way to Marco Asensio. The Spaniard, known for his intelligence and composure, drew in 2 Villa players before threading a smart pass to Nuno Mendes, who had darted forward down the left flank. Mendes swiftly cut inside past Matty Cash and unleashed a ferocious left-footed strike toward the near post. The shot flew into the net before Martinez could even react. It was a masterful piece of execution from the young Portuguese fullback. This goal underscored the seamless understanding between Asensio, Mbappé and Mendes. PSG weren't obsessed with controlling the tempo, they were choosing moments to pierce the armor, striking when Villa's defensive shape was disorganized. The backline was too easily stretched, and Mendes' off-the-ball movement was textbook. At this point, the aggregate was 5-1, and many assumed PSG would proceed to bury their opponents. 34th minute. Tielemans' hope rekindled. Just when it seemed like all hope had faded, fortune finally smiled on the home side. In the 34th minute, Leon Bailey received the ball on the right wing, cut inside, and laid it off to Yuri Tielemans, who was charging into the space at the edge of the box. Tielemans struck it cleanly, but the ball took a wicked deflection off Marquinhos, wrong-footing Donnarumma and finding its way into the back of the net. 1-2 on the night, 2-5 on aggregate, and a flicker of belief returned to Villa Park. The goal wasn't particularly beautiful, but it was immensely important. PSG had begun to show signs of complacency. Their midfield dropped too deep, relinquishing control and allowing Villa to dictate play, a dangerous choice for an away team with a fragile European history. Tielemans played his box-to-box role to perfection, timing his run and taking full advantage of the space left unguarded at the top of the box. The deflection was fortunate, but the execution was purposeful. Bullseye final result. PSG advance 5-4 on aggregate, but Villa shine in defeat. Despite losing the match 3-2, PSG managed to hold on and secure their place in the semi-finals thanks to their first leg cushion. But Aston Villa walked away with heads held high, winning hearts even in defeat. It was a wild, emotional contest, truly one of the most memorable matches of the 2024-2025 UEFA Champions League.